All right, everybody, welcome back to the D.O.G podcast. My name is Drew. This is German, and today we're gonna mix it up a little bit. We're gonna talk about WNBA player Brittney Griner, who's currently locked up in Russia, and then we're gonna play a little fun game of Would You Rather.
Yeah, man. So go ahead. WNBA basketball player.
Yeah,
Um,
All Star, Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah.
She was a big stud in college. She played for Baylor.
hmm
Anyway, long story short, she decides to go to Russia, and on her way to Russia, she gets stopped because she's carrying a marijuana-based substance.
it's like a
Um,
CBD oil pen, right? Something like that.
yeah, something
Yeah.
along those lines.
hmm
Um,
I think I
well,
saw
you
that.
see,
Yeah.
Russia is not quite like the U.S.
Uh
Where
huh.
it's legal. It's illegal over there. So basically, she's carrying contraband. She's carrying drugs.
Yeah.
It'd be like someone trying to smuggle in cocaine here. That's how the Russians view it. It's a no, and that she is doing it.
But from what I've heard, or from some of the research that I did, that she's gone over there to go play basketball like countless times. Like I hear
Yeah,
that the Russians pay big money for basketball players right over there for women's
yeah,
basketball.
yeah. So it's actually very common
hmm
for WNBA players. What they do is they'll play here in the U.S. for the regular season,
Right.
and because they don't make a lot of money, they end up going overseas in the off
Yeah.
season and playing professionally there also.
Right.
So she does that in Russia.
I don't know if you saw Bill Burr's new special that just came out on Netflix, but he
Uh-uh.
talks about the WNBA and how feminism was the ones that ruined or killed it for the WNBA. Like it should be a bunch of feminists out there, supporting them week in, week out, and packing
Yeah,
up their stadiums, but they don't do it.
but they don't do it.
Should men be obligated to be the ones to go
Hmm.
do that? We already have our own game. Like
We
that's
got
that's that's your shit. Um, but it's a hilarious bit, and yeah, and I saw that they pay big money for women basketball players to go over there.
Mhm.
But I feel like she just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, because if you really think about it, it's probably something that she's done a dozen times already, right?
Mhm.
Taking CBD oil pen over there, because she probably smokes it a lot. Like we talked about it before, where basketball is just it's a grind on your body, right? Like just
Right.
being an athlete in general. So I'm pretty sure she likes to smoke a little bit of weed every now and then,
Mhm.
and and now it just happened. She just happened to go over there when Western civilization is trying to pretty much cut off Russia, economically speaking, and they're kind of just using her as a pawn at this point, right?
Yeah, so Russia is like, no, you're not getting her back. She's gonna
Yeah,
do time in prison here, and basically she just committed uh, a big time offense over there,
right.
and they're like, nah, she's stuck over here. And in the U.S., everyone's like, you're gonna go to hell and back, Joe Biden, to bring back
Right.
uh, Brittney Griner.
Mm.
And so I just saw an article this morning that they're doing a proposed prisoner trade,
hmm
um, Brittney Griner for Victor Boot.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much research he did on Victor Boot, but Victor Boot is an arms dealer
I
that
heard
is
I heard he like
currently in.
I heard he like sells nukes and shit. Like he would
Oh,
like
dude,
be able to sell fucking people's
I was
nukes.
I was pretty fascinated by this guy.
Yeah.
This guy is like, when we're talking arms dealer, like he's a fucking arms dealer.
Uh
Like he was selling nukes, he's selling warheads, and not like a couple. He's
shit.
selling them by the hundreds. He's selling AKs in the wars in Africa in the 90s, not by the thousands, but by like 30, 40,000 units alone. Like
Jesus
he's
Christ.
making millions of dollars selling arms.
And
And
who's
he's smart.
proposing this trade? Is it
I think
Russia?
I,
Russia's the
I
ones
think
that want him out, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's necessarily Russia. I think that they like that idea, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it was the Biden administration reached out
Mm-hmm.
first and was like, "Hey, we got this arms dealer that has potentially led to the deaths of thousands of people, and you have a WNBA star that smokes weed. So how about we trade for them?"
I don't know,
And I'm
man.
sure Russia is going to.
If I were Biden, man, I'd just get in that podium and just look at the camera and just be like, "I'm sorry, Brittney Griner,
You're screwed.
but
You're
you're
screwed.
staying over there for a little while, okay?"
Look, this guy, he's a bad fucking dude. Like
Yeah.
the way I listened to the documentary for just a little bit on how they caught him in
Yeah.
Thailand, and or Taiwan, and
I did hear about that. Yeah.
it was a big sting operation, and he kind of colluded to helping these guerrillas in Colombia that
Mm,
were saying that they were purchasing up to $12 million in weapons
yeah.
that they were going to use to fight off the Colombian government and Americans. Like they talked about how they wanted to assassinate Americans and shoot down American planes,
Holy
and this
shit.
guy was like, I got the shit for you. And he's like, I'm going to make those American planes go boom for you guys.
Yeah.
And so then the DEA hopped in and the Taiwanese police hopped in and they arrested the guy.
Hmm.
And he's like completely like denied it. Oh, I was trying to sell him cargo planes. They're like, dude, we got you
I'm
on
there
tape.
selling knives, bro, like
Yeah.
kitchen knives. Like,
This is a pyramid scheme. I've been watching a lot of
right?
Andrew Tate lately.
He's selling Herbalife. Like what the hell? I'm going door to door. It just happened to be in Colombia.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
happened to be these guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see how in any right mind that trading Brittney Griner for a
Yeah.
guy that's led to the death of thousands is okay. Um, in my opinion, Brittney Griner, you did something that you weren't supposed to do. Um, Russia's like no weed, and you're like, well, I'm a WNBA star
and
in
Russia's
America.
like it's just like double whammy, right? Like Russia's like
Hmm.
anti-weed, they're like anti-lesbian, they're
Oh yeah,
anti-black, or like they're super racist over there.
Yeah,
And like, I feel like it's a triple whammy now. Like, I mean, she kind of went over there. She's got a big old target on her back.
and
Um,
you know what's pretty crazy is
yeah,
she's looking at 14 years in prison, and
yeah, I
this
saw
guy
that.
Victor's doing 25 years. And this
Wow,
dude led to the death of thousands upon thousands of people, and Brittany was just trying to get high for a little bit.
holy
Um,
shit, dude.
yeah, but
But I
I
mean,
mean,
that's
I'd love
also
to have her back here because it's just American citizen. But at the same time, you kind of broke the law over there, right?
yeah, that's also yeah, okay, yeah, I do get what you're saying that she did break the law, but it's just the corruption that's rampant over in Russia. Like I feel like that's what people necessarily don't really have a grasp of
Hmm.
here in the US, is that when you go to a country like that, whether it be Russia or it be another country, China, and there's like a bunch of Eastern countries, like a bunch of countries in the Middle East, they're gonna have their way with you. Like it just you're not just
Right.
a big time American that you can go anywhere in the country and do whatever you want.
Hmm.
Shit doesn't work like that. I feel like we honestly do take advantage of some of the freedoms that we have here,
For sure.
because there's not a foreign athlete that's scared to come to the U.S. because they feel like they're going to be locked up, due to corruption. Like you kind of take that risk when you go to a country like Russia to go play basketball,
Oh, for sure.
and for sure, she's there, she's making money, she's doing what she loves, she's doing what she pretty much has to do, because if she were to be able to have that opportunity anywhere else in the world, like she would take that opportunity over Russia, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But the fact that she has to go over there and do that to go play ball over there, and then she probably should know better than to take weed over there. Also, like given that it's illegal, it's a corrupt society, it's a corrupt country, and then I feel like it was just bad timing with the war against Ukraine. The
I think they're
Russians.
looking any reason to lock her up. Honestly, I mean, I think they're looking for any reason to lock up any American that's over there.
There was
It's
there
bargaining
was
chip.
there was this he's not a journalist, but he's a I guess you can say he's a writer. He writes books. He travels across the country. I guess he had one time he had biked all the way from like Mongolia all the way through to like Africa and stuff.
Hmm.
And he was actually at this time or at another time he actually happened to be stuck in Russia, and he was like trying to cross the Russian border, um, trying to get out of the country when they locked him up because one, he wasn't supposed to be there, he was trespassing, but they kept him in prison because of the war against Ukraine when this all happened. So
Hmm.
this happened months ago, and he was locked up for like 3 months for no charges whatsoever. They still couldn't give him any charges, and then the Russian government kind of just kept giving him excuses. They kept pushing his court date back. They locked him up like in solitary confinement for like 2 3 weeks, I
Jesus.
think it was.
Hmm.
It was pretty bad, and he thought he was gonna die, and it wasn't until they finally had agreed to like, okay, get him out of there, or it was they were charging him with being a journalist, which was what they thought, but what he was doing was just going around asking questions like, oh, what are your opinions on the war, or this and
Hmm.
that, and people were selling him out, like people were actually coming up with lies to get him in prison or whatever, um, all because they didn't trust him because he seemed like a journalist when he wasn't even a journalist. They went through his cameras, they went through his diaries, like they legit dehumanized him for months until he was actually at the end of it finally free to go. But he had charges of being a journalist. It's completely different from Brittney Griner because they have, I guess, a charge against her when it comes
Hmm.
to weed. But I feel like with her, they're just using her as a pawn to
Yeah.
probably try to get this other guy out, this arms
Hmm.
dealer.
Hey, they're
Which,
in the middle of a war right now. They
yeah,
they could use someone that
and they
is,
still and
is
they
good
still
at
don't call it
moving.
a war. I guess for people, according to people from Russia, that they don't call it a war over there. That there's a bunch of propaganda going on over there that they're liberating Ukraine from the Nazis. Is what they're calling it, but
Jesus.
they're not calling. They refuse to call it an invasion. Any member of the press who calls it a war gets arrested.
Yeah, man. I think you and I have talked about it before. I don't think we
Yeah.
talked about it in the other podcast, but you and
Mm-hmm.
I had that long discussion on how Vladimir Putin is the master of puppets, man. He's out there. He's been pulling strings for the
Right.
last 40 years to
Mm-hmm.
eventually, start this World War III going on. And it,
Yeah.
it really showed with COVID and all those conspiracy theories that we talked about before.
Yeah.
And I do think that this is like another pawn, another piece in this big game that he's
Mm-hmm.
playing. And it just so happens that a WNBA star is caught in the middle of it.
Now, how far did you get into the deal? Like, did you get any like actual details of like when it might happen or?
No, because I think it
Mm,
was just kind of proposed today.
yeah.
A lot of speculation's been going on the last couple of weeks that Russia was most likely going to ask for this guy,
Mm-hmm.
Victor Boot. And so I looked everywhere, and like I said, there's been articles for 2 weeks
Yeah.
about how he was probably going to be the number one guy to have a prisoner swap,
Mm,
which is kind of sad, honestly, man. I
yeah.
mean, we have to give up a guy that is as terrible as this guy. I mean, he's arming terrorists and
Right.
Taliban's and these wild radicalist guerrillas that are fighting the war on drugs
Yeah.
against the U.S. And we got to let this guy go just so we can get back someone who got caught smoking weed or
Right.
trying to smoke weed.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it really does suck because I mean, it's an arms dealer who, like you said, who probably caused the lives of thousands of human beings,
Hmm.
um, and and just the fact that they're proposing this trade or they're considering it, I think it's so crazy. I think it's an a testament to what the priorities are in our country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like we're so. I guess what I'm trying to say is like we're so cuddled over here in the U.S. when it comes into comparison of the corruption from the Russian government and the
Hmm.
the Russian regime or whatever. It's so crazy that she's stuck in the situation that she is. It sucks. It's really unfortunate,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm kind of getting the same vibe that you're getting. Is there's bigger things at play here
Hmm.
other than some girl who plays basketball,
Yeah.
which really sucks. Like it sucks that we have to say stuff like that.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really a ideal
Yeah.
situation.
Um, what does her family say? Like I know that they're trying to do whatever it takes to get her over here, and I know like her wife, she's married, right, or a girlfriend, something like that. Um,
Yeah.
what are they saying when it comes to all this with the
They're
proposed
just
trade?
they're just trying to get her back. I think
Mm,
it's whatever it takes type of thing.
yeah.
Um, I don't think that they have any specific quotes. I'm like, hey, yeah, give
Mm-hmm.
out Victor Boot. But I
Yeah.
mean, they're all for any sort of trade. I mean, shit,
Right.
I would be too if that was my sister or
Mm-hmm.
cousin or daughter or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
give them anyone. Despite that, I mean, if you think about it logically, like this guy, we let Victor Boot go. In 6 months, he could be dealing arms to
Right.
some small country that could invade
Yeah.
Poland or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's
Yeah.
real shitty. It's real shitty that you're gonna
Right.
trade someone that just caught smoking weed a little bit compared to someone who's killed thousands of lives, led to the death of thousands of lives.
Right. I mean, you could just tell from the beginning she was going to be used as a pawn. Like as soon as
Oh, for
maybe the
sure.
invasion happened and they looked
Yeah.
at whatever assets that they can find, they were going to use her no matter what. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe necessarily they might just start considering lifting some of these sanctions that they put on Russia. I mean, some of it's not even working that much. I know that they just opened the pipeline, the main one that leads from Russia to Germany. I know they
Hmm.
just opened up that pipeline because Germany was hurting really bad for natural resources, and I think, but I think they're still limited on how much actual oil that they're actually able to receive from Russia. I think there's still restrictions on the usage of that giant pipe,
Hmm.
which it's insane the over reliance that Western countries in Europe had on Russia and the oil and stuff. What because I mean we're pretty much funding all the war pretty much in Ukraine. I mean they're the ones that paid them for all the oil and all that stuff. So really crazy stuff. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, no, not really. It's
Yeah,
just an
that's
interesting, sort of a sports topic that
yeah.
got a little drama in there.
Interesting story, man. I really do hope that they resolve something. But I'm not on board on giving up an arms dealer for a basketball player.
No, no, this guy's nicknamed the Merchant of Death.
Oh
We're gonna
shit.
we're gonna trade a WNBA player for the Merchant of Death.
That is that is my new gamer tag because that is the fucking greatest nickname in the
The
history of
Merchant of
nicknames.
Death.
Oh
Yeah,
shit, fuck, dude.
yeah. They made a movie about this guy. I think it was The Lord of War, starring Nicolas Cage in their mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. That's based
Yeah,
on him?
that's based on him.
No shit. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
number one line in that movie is "I sell to every army except the Salvation Army." It's crazy,
That's
dude.
cool. That's crazy. And I think I remember watching the movie, and the movie wasn't even that good, really. It's
Really?
Nicolas Cage.
It's Nicolas Cage. He's got a couple.
Super off topic, but I can't stand Nicolas Cage. Like
You
he's
seem like a guy that can't stand the Nicolas
oh,
Cage.
dude, like he's just I want to steal the Declaration of Independence. Shut up, dude. Like